Well, I'm wearing all black today. Welcome to the Ron Johnson Show. I'm your host, Ron Johnson, and I'm wearing black because I feel like somebody died. Like when you watch the Timberwolves, and I'm just gonna bring Sam Ekstrom in the show right away. Um, Sam, I mean, you're dressed like you're going to a party. You look good. You
Well,
you
thank
look
you.
like you're dressed to impress your wife for a Friday night dinner. Me, if I could put my hoodie up, I'd put my hoodie on. I keep my face covered. Um, you just don't want to walk around the world right now as a Timberwolves fan. This is the tough thing about last night, Sam, for me. The start of the game was awesome. It's awesome. Great start. Chris Finch calls timeout. Fast forward, and then they're up again. Big. Chris Finch, another timeout. What I started to notice, Sam, and this is what did it for me. What I started to notice was a coach who basically understood the assignment. He understood what to do in key moments of the game. He understood that you look at John Morant and what was going on, the early foul trouble. And we talked about this yesterday. We talked about if Karl-Anthony Towns ends up in foul trouble, what do you do? I said flagrant 2 because I felt like I didn't know this was going to happen. This is not one of my predictions. But I felt like if it was going to happen, they need to learn how to play without him. I will admit, I was wrong about the Grizzlies. They learned to play without John Morant in the season. And I think that was the key last night. They've had to play without Ja before. They've won games and done really well when he was out completely. So when he was in early foul trouble and they had to sit him for a little bit, there was no panic in the team. Like the Suns, I think they're going to panic a little bit. We'll see if Chris Paul can kind of keep it together. But there was no panic in the Grizzlies. Like I think not we all, me, but a lot of people questioned the youth, second youngest team in the NBA. We questioned that. Timberwolves, though, sixth youngest team in the NBA and a young coach or new coach. When you think about the 47-21, Chris Finch uses another timeout. Or no, sorry, not Chris Finch. The Grizzlies coach uses a timeout.
Yep.
So he used an early timeout. He used a timeout at 47-21. After 47-21, this is where you kind of felt it taking a turn. So this is the thing about timeouts. You have to keep using them until you feel like your team is mentally in or they're doing what they're supposed to do. After that timeout, you had Jaren Jackson get an and-one after Anthony Edwards fires up a 3 for no reason. He could have drove to the hole. He fired it up early. And then Naz Reid takes a 3-point shot and misses. 34% three-point shooter on the season. Yes, he's 66% in the playoffs, but it doesn't matter. You're not the guy. You're not that guy. You don't throw up a 3 right now. We're up. I get it. We're up. And it's like that's what happens in pickup basketball. Guys get up 11-1, playing the 17 or playing the 13, and random guys on your team that aren't good, that did not get you that lead, start taking shots they shouldn't take. That's what started happening. Some ill-advised shots, some lackadaisical plays. Then 47-28, Timberwolves miss their last 5 shots at that point. They had missed 5 shots, 47-28. Well, then we know what happens. The Grizzlies claw back. They go to the second half. They get another lead. I think it was like 62-83. And then all of a sudden it's 86-85 with 5 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. At no point did Chris Finch think to call a timeout to slow his guys down, to slow the other team down, to talk them through and say, hey, we need to just burn some clock. We need to take some shots within the last, Kevin Durant, that thing. ISO ball Anthony Edwards, force them to do something, or whoever's hot. I mean, Anthony Edwards was moving the ball well. You had, this was a game where I've said D'Angelo Russell was actually going for his. Pat Beverly early on was absolutely a menace on the offensive side. And then it kind of disappeared, I guess you'll say. I mean, when you look at down the stretch, to finish with 14 points, to me, that's not enough shots. That's not enough. Like they were kind of giving him like if somebody's going to beat us, let's let Pat Bev beat us. He was doing it early. Like, he was getting it done. A little bit too much celebration with the little, I know that's his thing. Over celebrate, makes a dunk. He's tapping the top of his head like he dunked on somebody. For me, I just don't understand. Charles Barkley saying they were a dumb team. Like, he roasted them. They're a dumb team. They're this. That's probably why. Like, there were some ill-advised things that happened. If you're up that big, you slow the game down in the third quarter. You take the air out the stadium and out the ball. You slow it down. They have a 20-point deficit. I mean, I didn't do the math, and I should have. But if you take it down to 24 seconds, and they then have to come down and spend another 12 to 15 seconds, you're talking about 40-ish seconds for them to beat you, or at least come back.
If you're trying to limit them to one possession per minute, like if you just hold on to the ball and just reduce the number of possessions, it was going to be hard for them to catch up. And by the way, the Timberwolves are still allowed to score in that stretch too. It 21-0 run, Ron. I mean, I'm sick to my stomach still the day after. I've not recovered from this, but Chris Finch doesn't call timeout. And I think that's egregious, honestly. Like, a little bit of coaching malpractice there, because what do you do if you're getting a 21-0 run against you? You need to start attacking again. The Timberwolves were hunting threes. They were doing heat checks. Like, early on, they were not judicious at all about their shot selection. I mean, they felt like, we've got this in the bag. We're just going to go for these bombs, try to get the crowd revved up. Well, then the lead starts shrinking, and they kept hunting the threes. You know what I need in those situations? I need Edwards to be the alpha dog.
Correct.
Too much on-ball Beverly. Beverly was dribble driving way too much for my taste. Cat was in over his head. I need Edwards to stabilize in those moments, because Vanderbilt's not going to score for you. McDaniels is not going to score for you. And I think we're seeing that, even though the Wolves have a nice core, kind of a big three plus Beasley, they don't have the depth like the Grizzlies. You can get support from Jackson, Kyle Anderson, Dylan Brooks, Desmond Bane, Tyus Jones. That's aside from Ja Morant. There's just a lot of guys, Brandon Clark, a lot of guys can give you a lift. The Timberwolves don't have that many guys that can really give them that lift. So I need Edwards to be that guy. And I didn't feel like he really ever wanted to take control to stabilize that team. Russell was the only one who had his head on straight, I felt like, and that wasn't enough.
Yeah, and here you go. This is the thing. Ja Morant only had 16 points. So when I always talk about you got to match star for star, well, their star that night was Desmond Bane. He was feeling it. Ja Morant wasn't in as much. Desmond Bane got going just like he's done when Ja Morant didn't play, him and Dylan Brooks. But third quarter, 47 seconds to go, 62-83. You're up 21. Fourth quarter, 6:56, 86-85. So my point is, you could take off about 6 to 7 minutes of time in the game with nothing scored on your end and them hitting all twos. The likelihood of you missing 10 shots, now they did miss 5, so it could happen, but the likelihood of them missing 10 shots, the Grizzlies exactly getting it down to 15 seconds, forcing the issue, them making every shot, it's highly unlikely. That's why when you're up 21, you should go into the fourth quarter. So with 47 seconds, there should only be one shot in there. They get one shot, you get one shot. That's 48 seconds. So going into the fourth quarter, you should either be up by 23 or down by about 17-18. That's it. Like, you take the air out of the game. So then when the fourth quarter starts and you have this huge 20-point or 18-point lead, now you can do the same thing. You can slow it down and force them to be overdo it. Because when the coach knows, okay, hey, they're not trying to score right now. They're not trying to push it. They are trying to take the air out of the stadium. We have to push the tempo, slow them down, make them upset, make them use timeouts when they don't want to, go into the, make it, like you said, Anthony Edwards, step up, take the ball to the hole, force them to call a foul. Karl-Anthony Towns, get in there. But again, cat and fouls. Like, that's the problem. He had more fouls than he had shots on goal. Like, that can't happen. That's the problem, is when you're the last three, the play-in game, the other playoff game before that when they lost, And then this past playoff game, he had more fouls in all three in big moments than he did shots on goal. That cannot happen. That can't happen next game. If that happens again, they're going to lose. And now the Grizzlies kind of feel it. They're feeling confident. They're tweeting out like they're making a mockery of what's going on.